What's up, guys? It's your boy Mayhem Matthew, and welcome to the Touchdown Show live for you on YouTube. This is Mayhem Matthew and my co-host Christian Ballard of Ballard Sports Media. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. It's great to have college football back. Obviously, we know what happened with Florida State. May they rest in peace. And shout out to Georgia Tech, though. But no, man, it's great to have it back in full swing. Our team's playing this week. You got Clemson, I got Western Kentucky, and then a handful of other games that we're going to dive into a little bit tonight. Kind of give our score predictions as we did a pick 'em the other day, but it's just going to be interesting to see how teams start the season. You got games like LSU, USC, FSU trying to bounce back against Boston College. I could go down the list. Miami and Florida in the swamp. We'll talk more about these games as the show goes on tonight.
For sure. We're going to take a deeper dive into these matchups. We did make a quick pick 'em in the last live show that we were on, the kickoff show with Ballard Sports Media. We did a quick pick 'em, but we're going to actually dive deeper into these games and actually come up with like a score prediction and stuff like that. So if you're interested, stay tuned. If you like the content, smash the thumbs up. If you really like the content, hit the subscribe button. It's completely free. Both of them are, by the way, and it takes like 2 seconds to do both. But anyways, before we get into that, I do want to get, we haven't done a touchdowns live show since the Florida State Georgia Tech game. I want to get, your reaction, Ballard, to this game. Before you do that, I want to go ahead and say that I already made a video about this, but I was correct. All right. I was 100% correct. I stated on the kickoff show on Ballard Sports Media's YouTube channel, I stated that Georgia Tech was going to win by a last-second field goal, and that's exactly what happened. I wish I would have gave a score prediction. I probably would have came very close to the score. That was the actual score. But I did say that Georgia Tech was going to win. And so I was right. FSU, man, y'all have been pretenders all year last year. Unfortunately, your starting quarterback got injured. And y'all did not look like the same exact team. Y'all missed the playoffs. The committee got it right. Then y'all all quit. All the players quit on the FSU team. And then y'all got blown out 63-3 by 60 points, the largest margin in a bowl game by my Georgia Bulldogs. Y'all did not deserve to be there. And everybody has opt-outs every single year in bowl games. And this is the largest deficit that you lost to. You lost by 60 points. So that clearly states right there that you didn't deserve. And y'all try to sue everybody during the off season. Y'all sued McDonald's. Y'all sued Burger King. Y'all even sued y'all sued everybody and your grandmother. Okay. Y'all wasn't paying attention to college football, and it came up and they stung you. Okay, them Georgia Tech jackets, they stung you, sting like a bee. Down goes Florida State.
Shout out to the chat real quick. Atypical Gump showing up for us tonight. We got a few people watching. And but only him so far in the chat. He says 361 days until next year's college football season. Florida State man wanted to know. They still in the ACC last time I checked. So God, who sues their own conference? Anyway, yeah, no, it's exciting to kick off the season. We got a couple games we want to predict and look at tonight. Florida State, we can recap it all day long. They looked absolutely terrible the other night. I know it was close. I know it came down to the wire and everything like that with Georgia Tech. I almost said Notre Dame. But like I've been saying this week, you got to give Tech their props because they're not a pushover team. They're not terrible. They don't. Uh, I, I think that it's been one of those things that they've been down in the gutter for a while. That we look at them and say that's not a team Florida State, who is on the uphill climb, should be losing to, and I would agree. But at the same time, just my final words on this as we enter the first full week of college football, Florida State should have won, but they didn't. And you have to give credit where it's due to Georgia Tech because they are going to be a good team this year.
I'll go ahead. I'm gonna say this because I think this is a good talking point, and maybe you might have a different opinion. So number one, I totally agree with you. Florida State should have won this game, and I'm not downing what Georgia Tech has done and what Brent Key has built at Georgia Tech. But the programs, Florida State and Georgia Tech, the football programs, Florida State it should be at a much higher level in football, and the way they've been recruiting in the last couple of years, they should have been able to beat Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech has a phenomenal head coach in Brent Key. I told y'all he was going to be a force to be reckoned with. This guy is tough. And you know, this reminds me of like a Kyle Whittingham Utah team. You know, Utah was a team like a former Group of Five team. They came into the Power Five, wasn't that good. Kyle Whittingham is just a very tough coach, and it made Utah the players buy in to that toughness. And look at where they're at now, back to back Pac-12 champions. I know the Pac-12 is not here anymore, but that's still an accolade that they have. And now they're in the Big 12, and they're also my favorite to win the Big 12, and a lot of other people's favorite. But I know you know, I feel like Brent Key is very tough, and I'm pretty sure that now they beat a top 10 Florida State team. They're going to have a lot of momentum going on into the next several weeks, and they're going to have the I can't think of the word, but they're gonna believe in themselves, right? That's what I'm looking for. They're going to be able to believe that they can win games versus top competition. And do I think they're going to win the ACC or anything like that? No. I know Nick Saban commented that Georgia Tech is a sleeper in the ACC. Don't know if I agree with that, but I do believe that they're not going to be at the bottom of the barrel ACC. They're going to be in the middle of the road ACC type of team this year. Um, but the thing I wanted to talk about was now that we've seen a couple of years with this transfer portal thing, is it safe to say now that you cannot build your team off of just transfer portals alone? I mean, we've seen that with, like, just for example, Florida State, right? They had a really great team last year, and then this year they're already flopping in their own misery. Southern Cal 2 years ago had a phenomenal season. Last year tanked. Their season tanked. I'm pretty sure if I actually looked up some other teams, I can do the same exact thing for their teams as well. I really can't name a team that has been successful year in and year out using the transfer portal only. I still think recruiting is king. I want your opinion on that.
It has to. It's the bloodline of college football. And I'm sorry, you need the portal. You need both just as much as the other one. Like, honestly, you do. You just have to get talent. There's going to be good talent that comes out of high school that's going to go to a school and it's not going to work out for that particular player because they find out, well, the coaching staff and everything, the system, it's just not for me. That doesn't mean they're terrible, right? I mean, you look at, I don't know, there's so many different examples. I don't, okay, take this. Can I bring up Joe Burrow? How did it work out with him at Ohio State? Mayhem, you want to answer that?
Couldn't get on the field.
Right. Had he got on the field, how do you think he would have done? As good as he did in 2019?
Uh,
Probably not.
no, I don't think so.
Probably not. But he goes to LSU with Joe Brady and Steve Ensminger, the other co-offensive coordinator, and the right system, the right place, the right environment, the coaches and everything helped him win a Heisman Trophy, be the number one pick, win a national title. Just to give an example there's a whole other list of guys out there, quarterbacks, whatever position. The portal is huge. Recruiting is huge. Well, that's why I clowned Dan Mullen when a few years ago, like his final season, he was asked about recruiting. And he said, no, we'll talk about recruiting when it's time to recruit. Like, dude, recruits just heard you say that. What are you talking about, dude? That's insane. So you got to have both. I think the transfer portal and Dabo Swinney is allergic. It is allergy season 24/7 at Clemson. Okay. And I don't care what you have to say on that. He did not bring in any transfers this year in the offseason. At least from what I've heard, what I've read and looked at, he just hasn't. So doesn't make him a bad coach, but it's not you have to recruit. A guy like Dabo can do that. And then you got to use the portal. Dabo can't. And we've believe it or not, we've seen how it affects him on the field.
Yeah, another team that I was thinking of while you were speaking there is Ole Miss. I know they won 10 games last year, but go back a couple of years ago, whenever they won 10 games, and the very next season, they lost 5 games. Yes, they won 10 games last year. We'll see how they do this year. They're expected to be extremely good once again. They're expected to go, 10-2 and make the playoffs. That's what everybody's pretty much, projecting Ole Miss to be. I think Ole Miss could be 9-3, but that's not the point. The point is, I feel like that recruiting is still king, and transfer portal should be used only if you are weak at a certain area. Go out, get your transfer portal guys to plug in your weaknesses, and still have a really good team there. And I think transfer portal should also be used for depth pieces as well. But let's go ahead and get started with the in-depth game previews. Want to go ahead and kick us off, Ballard?
One quick second here. Right. Yeah, let's kick it off. I'll let you pick the first game, but I'll lead off into it. What game do you want to look at first?
Let's do Miami at Florida Gators. They're going into the swamp. The Miami Hurricanes is going into the swamp to play the Florida Gators. So,
Yeah.
lead us into it.
Yeah, so Miami is going to be an interesting team this year. I think they always are because they're either going to do really, really good or they're going to do really, really bad. I don't know if there's ever really any middle ground. They either have a successful season or they don't. The same could be said for Florida. But Florida has home field advantage in this game. It's a 2:30 Central, 3:30 Eastern kickoff on ABC. Of course, TV deals, stuff like that. It's ACC and SEC kickoff here. But regardless of all that, this game itself, Miami comes in a 2.5 point favorite. They have a 42.7% chance to win, which means the FPI matchup predictor is favoring Florida right now, 57.3. And I'm going to be honest, I think that's being generous. I think that's just because they're at home. It's going to be 88, almost 90 degrees in the swamp. Not that Miami's not used to that, but because they're in Florida too. But you got to travel actually quite a long way to get to Gainesville from Miami. The over under 53.5. I don't know what to expect other than I love Miami this college football season. I would pick them to be in the ACC title at the end of the year when it comes time for December. And I might even go ahead and not lock them in, but keep an eye on them as far as being a playoff contending team. Florida's nowhere near that. And this could be close, but I think Miami's defense holds up. I don't think the Gators will have enough offense, and I think the crowd could play a factor. But let's say if you took the crowd away, honestly, man, like I see Miami winning this game no problem. They should have no problem handling the offense of Florida. They should have no problem handling Florida's defense as well. I think the defense is really soft right now, and I'm not saying any of this to be critical. I love Cam Ward at quarterback. Uh, they have so much at the wide receiver position, of course. Xavier Restrepo comes back, and Uh, you have a Cam McCormick at tight end. You have a couple different options actually there, but the offensive line, Francis Mauigoa, Ian Johnson, to name a couple guys, there's so much talent for Miami that Florida just doesn't have to match up with. So I would say not only do they win this game, I think they win it big. And I'm going to give a score prediction of 30-14 over Florida. I really believe that Miami could go in there, have the defense that they have to shut down Graham Mertz and Florida's offense. But also, I think Florida has a bad enough defense that they're going to let Miami be able to score at will. What do you think?
That's a lot to take in, Ballard. You said a lot, but I think that we're going to see two really good quarterbacks in Cam Ward and Graham Mertz. Cam Ward being for Miami and Graham Mertz being for Florida. You know, I think also I think Miami's going to have you already touched on their wide receivers and stuff like that. They're going to have a wonderful offense. I think as far as Florida's defense, I don't know what to really expect from them. I think not going to be that good defensively. But also this is a heated rivalry game, and it's the very first game on the Florida's offense. You're going to have, like I said, Graham Mertz, and you're going to have Eugene Wilson, which I'm kind of really high on, and Elijah Batter. So them two guys are going to be really good. Not sure about Miami's secondary. I don't know if they're going to be extremely good or not, but I do know that Miami's defensive front is going to be really, really good. So if Miami wants to win this game, they need to get pressure on Graham Mertz, or it's not going to be a good day for them. Miami does lead the all-time series with a total of 29-27. Miami leads in the last 10 games 7-3. Them 10 games were played from 1985 to 2019. I'm going to be honest with you, right? You know, Xavier Restrepo, Jacoby George, Isaiah Horton, Ray Joseph are some of the really talented receivers for the Canes. You got for the Gators, you have Eugene Wilson, Elijah Batter. Um, Miami probably has the better defense. I think as far as offensively goes, I don't know about that offensive line for Florida, but I do know where it's being played at. It's being played at the Swamp. Okay. And whenever I look at their schedule, they also have another game being played at the Swamp, and that is um versus Texas A&M. And I have always said that Florida's going to win one of them games and Florida's going to lose one of them games. And I'm not going to spoil which one, or maybe I am, that they're going to win. I have Florida winning this game. This is
What?
the yes. Um, Miami always loses a game that they should not have lost. Remember last year, whenever Miami faced Georgia Tech? Remember that? And uh, Mario Cristobal did not need the ball. They had the game won. They ended up losing the game. All right. On a last second Hail Mary type deal. Okay. Miami, I am not 100%. Yes, Miami is very talented. They have a lot of talent, but Mario Cristobal always loses big time games. We've seen Mario Cristobal lose big time games in Oregon, and we've seen him do it at Miami just last season. Florida, whenever they go to the Swamp, they play some of their best football. I think Florida is going to have a talented wide receiver room. They're going to have a talented quarterback. I'm sure they've got talent on their defense. The only thing I'm really not buying in on Florida is their offensive line. If they can just be able to protect Graham Mertz, they will win this game. And I have a prediction. Florida's going to win 27-24.
I'm sorry, man. I am not buying into Sunbelt Billy Napier. I'm just not. I'm sorry. He hasn't shown me anything to pick him in a big time game like this. He just
Really?
hasn't.
Really?
No,
Really?
no.
So, did they not beat Tennessee at Florida? Big time game.
Okay.
It's at the Swamp, bro. I mean, you can go with your pick, and I'll go with my pick, but I like Florida here, and I think Florida will lose to Texas A&M in the next coming weeks. That's just how I feel. Unless I see Texas A&M just absolutely crap on themselves, but right now I got Florida winning this game and losing to Texas A&M. Up next, let's
All
talk
right.
about. You want to do this one?
Let's not. You lead into it. Go for it.
Up next, we got the North Carolina Tar Heels versus the Minnesota Golden Gophers. This is a Big Ten ACC showdown. Um, the Tar Heels last season actually defeated the Golden Gophers 31-13 last season. This is a home and home series. So last year they played in Chapel Hill in North Carolina. This year they go to Minneapolis, Minnesota to face off. So, you know, so North Carolina, they have a brand new signal caller. He is former LSU and Texas A&M quarterback in Max Johnson. I think he's a really, really good quarterback. Well, he shows flashes of goodness, and I think um, under North Carolina in Mac Brown's system, I think Max Johnson can show his potential. How about that? I think Texas A&M, it just didn't really work out for him. I think a lot of pressure was on him last season, but he is now in North Carolina. You also got running back Omarion Hampton. He had 1,500 yards and 15 touchdowns last year. He only had 46 rushing yards against the Golden Gophers last season. So, and we all know that Golden Gophers defense is extremely good. As far as North Carolina's defense, if they look like anything they looked like last year, oof, this is going to be a terrible game for North Carolina. Also, you have in Minnesota, you got New Hampshire transfer quarterback Max Brosmer. He, with the 4 years that he did with New Hampshire, he threw for 8,713 yards and 70 touchdowns. Minnesota only threw for 16 touchdowns and average 143 yards last year. So Brahmer's supposed to be an upgrade from what Minnesota had last year. So, and he likes to throw a deep ball. So you also have Daniel Jackson at wide receiver. You also have Georgia transfer Tyler Williams. He's going to be on that Minnesota team. You have Elijah Spencer and Kristen Driver, a former Penn State wide receiver. So you got some really good guys at wide receiver. At running back, you got Darius Taylor. He had 799 yards from last year. He was a true freshman last season, so that's really, really good yards. I'm gonna be honest with you. I like Minnesota in this game. I don't know what to expect from the defense of North Carolina, and my score prediction is Minnesota winning this game 13-10. I do have a very defensive game, but with that being said, the reason why I have that is because of the nerves of being the very first game. Probably a lot of turnovers in this game. Maybe North Carolina won't be able to get stuff going on in the first couple of quarters that will hold them back in the next couple of quarters. And I think Minnesota's offense, while they have some really good talent there, I'm not sure if they can get anything going until late in the second half. So 13-10, Minnesota. What's your thoughts?
I got UNC winning. I do have a 3-point game like you do, and I do think it's low scoring, but I go the other way, and I go in favor of the Tar Heels. I go 17-14 over Minnesota. And I look at the talent that they have for North Carolina. They lost a couple guys, but the biggest loss, obviously, is Drake May to the Patriots, who I hear has done okay this preseason. He's played a little bit, but keep an eye on the upcoming quarterback this year, possibly. I don't think anyone's actually been named yet, at least to my knowledge. But Jacoby Criswell is a senior. He's from Arkansas. And he, interestingly enough, Mayhem, he was at UNC for 3 seasons, 2020, 21, and 22. And then he transferred last year to Arkansas. Then he decided, I don't know, I'll probably go back home. He's from Arkansas. His hometown is Morrilton. He is a senior. He's 6'1", 230. Last year in the postseason, though, for Arkansas, or last year for Arkansas, period, actually, he not the postseason. They didn't even make the postseason, I should say. But just last year for Arkansas, what he did happen to take 5 sacks. He did have 3 passing touchdowns, though. 63 completion percentage. He was 17 of 27 for 143 yards. I think for a backup quarterback, especially for being at a place like Arkansas, uh, that's not bad. That's really good. Uh, he really came in a little bit in that Missouri game, if anything. So yeah, I would keep an eye on Jacoby Criswell for North Carolina if he does get the job to replace Drake May. It could be interesting with that offense. I don't think it's as good at the quarterback position, but I don't think it's a major step down.
For sure.
And by the way, I back up. I will take UNC by a field goal, 17-14. I don't see much offense, but I think that a guy like Criswell should be the quarterback for UNC. That could get the offense driving downfield, and I think they break the tie with a game-winning field goal, or that maybe they're up by 3 and they get a late stop, something like that in this game.
For sure. You want to lead us into the LSU versus USC game?
This is going to be fun. I'm really going to enjoy this game on Sunday night because, I mean, is this not the battle of disappointments right here? Think about it. Think about it. You got Lincoln Riley, right? You got USC, and what they did last year was not very good. You also, even though you had a Heisman winner, interesting. Okay, so both of these teams lose their star quarterbacks, and both of them were Heisman winners. Caleb Williams at USC and Jaden Daniels at LSU. Both of them are gone. They got to replace it. LSU at the moment, I would assume it's Nussmeier, and then you have a couple different guys you could choose from for USC. I don't know what to expect, man. USC still doesn't have a defense. LSU, even though Brian Kelly's their head coach, hasn't had a defense yet, but it's still not as bad as USC. I would look at Miller Moss possibly being that quarterback for USC going into this game. At least we would assume. Uh, there's a couple transfers out there. They really attacked the portal this offseason. But getting into the score for this game, I expect there to be a lot of points, combined score and everything. I would say it comes down to who has the better defense to stop the offenses, and I think that's LSU. I'm going to predict a score of 42-28, win by 14 points, LSU over USC. What do you think?
All right. A lot to unpack here. Number one, if a 10-win season is a disappointment for you, Ballard, then goodness gracious. LSU won 10 games last season, Ballard. Yeah. And that you said the battle of the disappointments. What? It's okay.
That's my mistake.
Next. I am super high. I am drinking that huge jug of Kool-Aid that LSU is giving me this year, okay? I love LSU this year. I don't think you're going to see much of a drop-off. I know you lose a couple of your receivers and you lose your quarterback. You have Garrett Nussmeier, which I think will eventually be a better passer of the ball than Jaden Daniels. Yes, he's not the runner that Jaden Daniels was, but he will be a better passer of the ball. You already seen glimpse of him in different games. You also have Chris Hilton Jr. coming back. You got Kyron Lacey coming back at wide receiver. You bring in C.J. Daniels from the transfer portal. You got wide receivers, man. I mean, stop acting like LSU don't bring in wide receivers. Okay, as far as the defense go, they hire Blake Baker as defensive coordinator. He was previously at LSU. I believe it was 2021 or so. And he was also at Miami and Missouri and Louisiana Tech, but he was previously linebackers coach at LSU. He comes back, and he is going to be a force to be reckoned with at defense coordinator. I think as far as the defense go, I think this is the touchdown show where we make bold predictions. Right, we're making a prediction right here. I think this is probably going to be the best defense under Brian Kelly that we've seen. This is going to be a special year for the LSU Tigers as they make a playoff run this season, making the first inaugural 12-team playoff. I have LSU winning absolutely huge, right? I have LSU winning 42-14 in this game.
Okay, so I'm giving USC a little bit more credit there. I got them 42-28. I gave them 2 more touchdowns, but I could see that. I mean, yeah, I guess I could.
I mean, the reason why is Caleb Williams is gone. Caleb Williams was the meat and potatoes of that team. You bring in, I mean, some quarterback that nobody knows of, and um, and I'm sure some USC fans are going to be in the comment section. Oh my gosh, you didn't see his highlight reel? Oh my goodness, wham, whammy, whammy, whammy. Okay, dude, come on. The larger picture of college football, the larger fans of college football has not seen this guy. Okay, so get over yourself. With that being said, uh, unproven quarterback at Southern Cal, um, and a terrible defense. Okay, no matter what you want to say about LSU's defense last year and what they might be this year, that is a terrible defense that that Lincoln Riley put on the field year in and year out. He has not had a good defense at all, even back to his Oklahoma days. So, what makes me think they're going to have a tremendous defense this year? I don't think that. So, with that being said, 42-14, LSU wins this game. Huge.
I like
Let's
it.
get let's get in to the next one. Let's do Penn State versus West Virginia. So
In Morgantown, too.
exactly. Um, this is Big 10 versus Big 12. Um, give me a second. All right. So West Virginia, they bring back Garrett Green. They have at wide receiver they have Preston Fox, Hudson Clement. Um, they get Jaden Bray from the transfer portal. Um, so you got some pretty good there. Their running back is Jaheim White and CJ Donaldson. CJ Donaldson is an absolute beast, by the way. Defensively, pretty average defense there. Their offense is going to be pretty good. And as far as Penn State goes, you bring back um, the quarterback from last year. All right, sorry, 1 second.
You bring back the quarterback from last year, Drew Aller. You also lose a guy in Keandre Lambert Smith. You also bring back, shoot, you bring back Nick Singleton. Last time I checked, you do. So Penn State's going to have a lot of defense and a lot of offensive talent. It's going to be really interesting to see. I want to see the receiving core. I want to see Harrison Wallace step up. He's entering his junior year. So there's so many different directions we could go with this. Watch the defense. Danny Dennis Sutton, Abdul Carter. Jordan Mayer is a freshman that I've heard quite a few good things about him. There's a lot, dude. The biggest loss for me is they lost their number one receiving weapon. I still don't know why he transferred to Auburn, but Keandre Lambert Smith, he's gonna be hard to replace, but it's not like Penn State doesn't have those weapons to take care of it.
For sure. I appreciate you helping me out there, Ballard. I'm really terrible with these names. I know Drew Aller last year was supposed to be like this really hyped, you know, sophomore, and he was supposed to be like some All-American, but didn't turn out to be. I mean, they still won 10 games, but a lot of people were thinking that he was going to be a lot better than he was. Their two losses came from Michigan and Ohio State, which that pretty much was the story of what Penn State has always been, in the last couple of years. So this year, I'm still going to pick Penn State to win this game because I do think they are a much better football team than West Virginia. But West Virginia is going to be better than what people are thinking. I have West Virginia possibly getting into the Big 12 championship this year. I'm never going to count out Oklahoma State, but it's going to be Utah and either West Virginia or Oklahoma State. I think West Virginia is definitely in the talk for winning. Not winning, but being in that Big 12 conversation. Penn State's in the Big 10, a whole different brand of football. If West Virginia is going to win this game, they're going to have to do the same exact thing that Georgia Tech did to Florida State. They're going to have to run the ball. They have the running backs to do it. They're going to have to run the ball. Okay, they're going to have to. They say some of the best defense is playing keep away from the other team's offense. Okay, so running the ball and keeping the ball away from Penn State's offense is going to be very crucial for West Virginia. Like I said, the best defense sometimes is your offense. Run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. Chew clock, chew clock, chew clock. Penn State, if they want to win this game, they're just going to have to play big boy Big Ten football. And, pretty much what they always have done outside of playing Ohio State and Michigan. As long as they do that, they should win pretty comfortably. I have Penn State winning 34-20.
I like it. Yeah, that's a good score. 34-20, win by 14. I got them by a touchdown only because of the environment. They've always just struggled with road games in the Big Ten. I know it's Big 12, and you could say whatever you want to about West Virginia, but Morgantown's really, really tough, man. They're going to go in there and get hit in the mouth a little bit, but I still think they come away with a victory.
For sure. I think it's close all the way into the fourth quarter, and maybe Penn State can run away with a little bit. I think Penn State has more depth to last in this game. Maybe West Virginia might be winning or something early in this game, but Penn State is my pick to win 34-20. All right, you want to lead us into the next game of Boston College at Florida Florida State.
Florida State should win this game, no problem. But at the same time, they were supposed to do that last week. No, this is a Monday night game. Florida State wants to rebound and bounce back. Not a big believer in DJ right now. Never have been, except when he first got out of high school. Boston College, I don't believe in them. I do like Florida State to win this game, but don't think they're going to come in here and put up 50 points on Boston College. I say they win by 18 points. Give me Florida State to win 28-10.
Okay. I have Florida State winning, and I have them winning 31-17.
Okay.
I'm not sure
And
what
again,
I'm.
yeah, you're good. I mean, you got them having an extra field goal and giving up an extra touchdown. So I mean, we're not too
Yeah.
far off.
Yeah, and also, Boston College almost coulda, shoulda, woulda won versus Florida State last year, and that's whenever they had Jordan Travis, by the way. Yeah, Boston College almost won last year, did not win, obviously. And this year, I don't know. Boston College is going to be Boston College. I mean, it don't matter what the players are. Boston College will be Boston College. They're going to have, a middle of the road defense, middle of the road offense. If you're not careful with them, they can punch you in the mouth and accidentally win a game. But as far as this game goes, Florida State is not going to look over teams like they did this past week with Georgia Tech. They're going to be looking at this game very seriously. They're going to be really angry. They're going to come in and they're going to whoop up on Boston College. I mean, I just hate it for Boston College because FSU is going to become pretty mad that they got embarrassed in front of 5 million people. So, with that being said, let's jump into the very last one. Um, I know you're really excited about this, and I'm really excited about this one. Texas A&M and Notre Dame. Want to do this one?
Yeah, for sure, man. And then we'll get out of here. But I think that College Station, Kyle Field, upsets have happened there. I speak as an Alabama fan. I remember Bryce Young's first year starting in 2021 when uh, what was his name, Castellanos or whoever kicked the field goal for Texas A&M. They were able to win, and Jimbo was the first saving assistant to beat him. And this is different. This is Notre Dame and Mike Elko going head to head. So, you got Marcus Freeman, who I think the past couple years, I think he got off to a rocky start. Remember, they lost to Marshall, but I thought last year he did a little bit better. Mike Elko, what he did at Duke, can he duplicate it at Texas A&M? I think down the road he can. I think maybe in year one he could maybe win big time games like this, but I don't know about making the playoffs or anything like that. And all that mess. I would sum it up and say that I do have Notre Dame winning this game, but close only because of defense at the end of the game. I don't think they let the crowd get to them. I'm going to go with the score of 31-27 and give it in favor of the Fighting Irish. But at the same time, I would say that anything's possible in the SEC road environments, and you just gotta be careful what you pick.
Yes, for sure. I think that this is going to be a very defensive battle. All right. Um, you have Notre Dame secondary. You got Benjamin Morrison. He's on the Thorpe Award, the short list for the Thorpe Award. You also have a really great Texas A&M defense too. It's going to be one of the. I mean, they have 5 stars all over the field on defense. Also, as far as offense, you got quarterback Connor Wegman at Texas A&M, and then you have Riley Leonard at Notre Dame. Riley Leonard is going to be facing up against his old ball coach. This is going to be poetic. This is going to be a very good game. We're going to see who comes out on top, quarterback versus old ball coach there. And you know, I think I have I have Notre Dame winning this game.
Okay.
Yes, I can definitely see Texas A&M winning this game. Mike Elko is a very good head coach, but this is his very first year at Texas A&M. I'm expecting a little bumps on, bumps on this season. Um, I could definitely see A&M winning this game, but at the same exact time, Notre Dame has the has Marcus Freeman. He's been there a couple of years already. He knows his team. He knows what to expect from his team. He's getting a lot of hype this season. Riley Leonard is a very good quarterback, and Mike Elko knows him really well, so that could play in favor of Texas A&M. I got this extreme. I've been thinking about this one so much, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you because I have I have Texas A&M going 8-4, right? And for the very first season, I got Notre Dame winning this game. It's the very first game. Um, I think Notre Dame's going to win it 20-13, but I can also see Texas A&M winning 20-13. But I'm taking the more experienced coach in this one. He's been in big time games, and I know that I know Mike Elko has been in big time games, but like he was versus Clemson last year to open the season, I understand that, but he's starting fresh with a whole new team, a whole new environment. Um, I know he was previously at Texas A&M before, but that's been years ago under with like Johnny Football and stuff like that in like 2012. A lot has happened since then. You had a brand new coach come in and get fired. So, uh, lots have happened since then. I think Notre Dame is very talented. I think this is an evenly matched football teams. I think Notre Dame and A&M is going to be evenly matched in this game. Who wants it more? I think the better defense is probably going to be Notre Dame, and that's why I'm giving them the slight edge. I think offensively, I think they're pretty evenly matched. 20-13, Notre Dame.
I like it. That is at least what we talked about, Mayhem. I believe that's all the games we wanted to really highlight as far as our score predictions outside of what we've already talked about this week or last week. Any other thoughts? College football?
Yeah. So as far as Georgia versus Clemson, I will be writing that on secunfiltered.com/. Georgia Bulldogs, right? I'll be writing that up. I'll be previewing the Georgia Bulldogs versus the Clemson Tigers at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. Georgia's secondary home, away from home. I'll also this coming Friday for the Bulldog Bite Night. I'm going to get that started up this coming Friday. We're going to be doing it every single Friday, getting ready for our Bulldogs. So I'm really excited about that. We're going to be talking about all things Georgia Bulldogs, and we're going to be getting ready for the season. I will be giving my score prediction and all that and more. I'll be talking about recruiting, all that stuff on that on that show as well. As far as Ballard goes, he's going to save his predictions and stuff like that for the Bama Blitz uh, you know
Huh?
podcast thing that he does on his channel. So
What? No. No. If you're going to promote my stuff, you better get it right, buddy. Okay, listen here. The Ballard Blitz is not happening. Not happening. Tidal Wave Talk. Tidal Wave Talk on Fridays at 12 Eastern. Okay, we predict the games. It's going to be amazing. Okay,
Go subscribe to
Mayhem's
his channel.
dying. Mayhem's over there dying, man.
Go ahead and subscribe to his channel, man. All right. My last words is go dogs, beat Clemson.
Love you guys. God loves you. God bless you all. Have a good night and roll tide. We'll see you.